Bryan Ward.
Reach down, your left hand. Right hand. Pick one out. Pick one. Should have been here last year.
I'm going to take Curt shots. Thank you very much. I guess I didn't show up last year, so I'm going to get it. Wait a minute. This is a big one. I want the big one.
Oh, you got it.
No, I don't know. You don't. No, you don't. I just want to thank everybody, because it's all of you guys that made my career what it was. From the very first day, in my very first assignment, Station 2, with Bobby Dunham, Wendell Marlin, Rich Schmidt, to Captain Colagross down to 5, onto the truck, all the crews that I had, and especially most of you out there that I got to train with. I mean, it was all of those times, all those experiences that made my career what it was to me. And I thank you all very, very much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that I'll never forget any of them. We love you, brother. Love you guys all, too. Oh my God. Hey, you know what? Also, you're going to hear a lot of stories. And, you know, the firemen have a way of getting long in the tooth. I'm going to have to say probably they're true, but they're just gotten a little bit bigger.
Still a pool table.
Hey, Curt, he said it got bigger.
He's probably talking about the big test.
No!
I just want to hit the point as to where it actually whacked him on the forehead, if that's the truth.
Right across the top.
Okay, so we have a special individual, a special visit from Ed Penine. Right?
Stand up, Ed.
Eddie's here?
Stand up, Ed.
Oh, hold on, sorry. We found your badge. Sorry, Bryan. I gotta get back up there. Tin pile.
Stick on.
A stick on.
It's plastic. It says not real.
What? Sorry. You had a special envelope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now we have it. Eddie.
David's backwards.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Craig.
That's Frank's boo.
That's where the IT guy.
So wrong. So many ways.
Eddie, he's already passed out.
Stick it up. He's rubbing one out.
Not working.
Hey, Coli. Move to the next guy.
Well, okay then. Since Eddie's probably at the bar.
He's asleep. He's old.
Or asleep. Curt Chun.
Is I'm truly proud and honored to have served with all of you. And I miss this job every day. And if I could wipe my own ass, if I could get the doctor to fix my arm where I could wipe my ass, I'd be back. We won't go there in this discussion. Yeah, exactly. So, I know Sammy has a whole lot to say. And I'm pretty much done. And I want to say from my heart, thank you much, guys. Thank you.
And Sam's thinking right now, thank God we didn't have stew.
That's got to be a story there.
used to get dressed up yet.
Are you ready for office?
With all the people on the list, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for being my brothers and sisters. It was an absolute fun time that I had for 26 years in Berkeley. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you very much, and I love you.
So, I was cleaning up around my place the other day, and I've always had this file cabinet where I kept all my paperwork, and I had this one whole section for BFD.
What else is in there, Olson?
Well, yeah, you had your own section in there too, but that's But anyway, I ran across my employee indoctrination packet that they gave me in 1980.
All right.
And, it's got my Kaiser plan and the bi-weekly pay schedule and all this stuff. And
What's your garage look like?
it even had the letter they sent me asking me if I was still interested in the job, because I took the test like 2 years earlier. I'd kind of written it off. I figured the list was dead. And they said, are you still interested? Report to training if you are. $1,414 a month. Salary currently under negotiation. I think I ended up starting at $1,520, which let's see, what did I calculate out? It comes to what was it, $6 and something cents an hour.
Yeah, but half of that time was on your back. Anyway,
Where'd you go?
No, I had a couple other things. I was going to say, this packet, even though it was from 1980, it looks like it could have been printed yesterday, right? And I thought, well, none of us have changed all that much in all the years either. Just like this paperwork, like me, I haven't changed. Let's see, who else?
Wow.
Myles, why don't you come up here and put on your mask? Oh, no. It's kind of a bad copy because it was so. Or you can just hold it up. Just hold it up.
Oh, that's me. Oh, yeah.
And Curt.
Oh, here we go.
You're next, Les.
I was taller before I started.
Keep these, Andy? Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah.
We're not.
Randy.
Did you forget something? My turn? Yes. Here we go.
Oh, my, how many pages is that?
Quite a few.
He's still
There you go.
Yeah. 2.5.
Well, I worked up at Station 7 for a while, so I had some time to think. Hey, first thing is, since this is a fake hearing, I would never wear an earring. Berkeley didn't do that to me, so that's for you. Anyway, my many thanks to all the tax-paying citizens of Berkeley. They were always generous and appreciative of what we do. And they don't get enough things for us. They passed a lot of bills and issues, and they kept us afloat, guys. I also want to thank the BFFA 1227. My family's been eating off of that plate since January 2nd, 1959. All right. I owe a lot. 1227. I wanted to keep the last days of my career positive, because I've seen a lot of guys sour towards the end, and I've always felt it was a great job, and I have a lot of respect for the fire tradition, So anyway, I was inspired by Gene Smith, who isn't here tonight, and his retirement speech a few years back, and he read off all the nicknames of the guys in the department that he had worked with, and I thought it was beautiful, and it clicked in my head that was really and truly what I loved about the job, and that's you guys. So here we go. I'm gonna get in there in a second. Okay, my favorite postman turned firefighter, Lloyd Derrickson. My favorite rookie probie, Malcolm Green. My favorite laugh and laugh in the station, George Fisher. It just resonated. My favorite guy with no spleen, Mike Gillespie. My favorite guy hanging on the flagpole, Bill Myler. Some of you won't remember this, but my favorite baby picture, Ed Gates. My favorite toupee was George Barber. My favorite female basketballer, Kristen Tucker. My favorite guy to visit in the hospital after a bike wreck, Norm Kreiss. My favorite late relief, Dave Cabrera. My favorite rig to ride on, 901, where we could still ride on the tailboard. It's the last stick in the department, too. My favorite guy with bar knots on his elbows, Mike Migliore. My favorite guy who broke his nose kicking open a door, Jeffrey Johnson. My favorite guy to buy a house from, Don O'Reilly. I still live in the house. My favorite mountain climber, Dan Green.
All right.
My favorite guy who walks off the golf course mid-round, Jeff Marino. My favorite female firehouse cook, sorry Anna, and the dinner was delicious. It's Candy Gill, because I had a lot more. My favorite music man, Jim Fanning. My favorite drill instructor who lit himself on fire while setting up props. My favorite guy to party with, the one and only Rick Guzman. My favorite mayor, Shirley Dean. My favorite smile or greeting, Harvey Robinson. My favorite Albany recruit, Steve Morikawa. My favorite guy with crop circles in his head, Mike Nagamoto. My favorite instructor, Bobby Dunham, who will train the men. My favorite voice, Avery Webb. My favorite New York accent, John P.K. My favorite refugee, Dory 2. My favorite guy who sleeps in a fart bag, Chris Van Leeuwen. My favorite guy to hunt with and listen to all his stories, John Higgins. My favorite fabricated stories, Charles Venables. My favorite guy who likes skanky women, the one and only Dennis Hope. My favorite place to party, 1616 MLK at Ladies House. My favorite guy to watch blow dry his hair, Shane Marbury. My favorite medic with the shakes, Dan Salter. My favorite alpha dog is Mark Caldwell. My favorite dice manipulator, and some of you guys will remember, Marv Duty. My favorite line, work smarter, not harder, Jarrell Jones. My favorite guy who eats dates, and no, it's not Bill Peterson, it's a different kind of dates. Will Ballou. My favorite chemist, Ron Paulstad. My favorite nose, Sammy Hoffman. My favorite guy to watch cry, Brian Alexander cutting onions. My favorite urinal, station number 5. My favorite fire engine mechanic, Rich Rasavi. Favorite guy to shake up a union meeting, Pete Reed. My favorite neighbor and friend and guy that I loved driving to work when he didn't have a license, Rich Waters. My favorite guy who had a vasectomy reversal, Richard Schmidt. My favorite union president who really stepped up, I thought, was Robert Bertero. Favorite district was Engine 7's, their clientele. My favorite firefighter who lateraled out was part of the Dirty Dozen, John Forsberg. My favorite firefighter who microwaved fish chef, Richard Waco. My favorite firefighter body. Sorry, girls, it's Gene Taylor. Favorite guy in a dress was Chuck Chin. Favorite lieutenant who wouldn't wear his uniform, Jose Perez. Favorite guys you hear in the firehouse before you ever see them, Greg Lozale and Bob Smith. Favorite artist, John Frankel.
Yeah.
Favorite guy who weighs himself naked every morning, the one and only Shepard Lewis. Favorite barbecue rib chef, Harry Clark. Favorite dead council person, Donna Spring. My favorite bear, J. Randall Walter. My favorite crew, and this was Falstad's crew, 2-engine C shift, about 1987. They were just, it was a blast to be there. Favorite rope guy, Dan Bobrowski. Favorite rescue dog, Dylan. Favorite iron lung story, Bob Humphrey. Favorite guy to rent my PML house to was Kevin Ravilla. He had wind up all our hoses like it was brand new. Don't know how he did it. My favorite person to sleepwalk with, Donna McCracken. Favorite guy to work with on a roof, Wayne Lynch. Favorite hydrant, Jensen hydrant on Shasta Road that he kept taking out on the favorite mother-daughter crew to work with was Rocky and Morgan. My favorite BFD rocker was Sebastian. My favorite guy who couldn't figure out where he wanted to work is Damon Brown. My favorite fly fisherman, Freddie Gomez. Favorite guy with black wheels on all his cars is Jimmy Geisinger.
Yeah.
Favorite gal who left way too early, Ingrid Bailey. We're almost done. Favorite guy with a hairier back than my own, Abe Lohan. Favorite vegan, Lauren Chase. My favorite officers were Chris Pinto and Freeman Long. My favorite supervisor, Paul Burracero. Favorite chief was Vic Porter, though, because he hired me. Favorite guy with the promise ring, Cal Metler. Favorite guy to disrupt the meeting was Ed Penine. Favorite Piedmont recruit, John Snell. Favorite guy who won't park his car in his garage because he's seen too many garage fires, Neil Lockhead. Favorite guy to wait on daily, Tony Nunez. My favorite Catholic and IT guy, right here in front of me, Myles Meier. Favorite crew of mine was Truck 5 with Pinto Ward and myself for 8.5 years. We had a wonderful My favorite Master of Ceremonies and a guy that wanted to quit last year because he said he didn't know anybody, and I said, you've known me my whole life. So please come back one more time. Curt Colagross. My favorite AO was Bill Wigmore. The happiest guy I ever worked with in any job I ever had, Bryan Ward. My favorite moment in the service was probably marching in New York City after 9/11 with 60,000 people in the rain, and it was just fantastic. And a person who cares about me and each and every one of you guys in here, Mark Mestrovich. But not least, my favorite firefighter ever, Ed Skip Schultz. I omitted a few and forgot others, but as you can see, you've all had a great influence on me in my life. It's been a great ride, and I love the city of Berkeley, and I love everything that this stands for. So, thank you all.
That's a hard one to go. Anyway, this picture right here, right before my 28-day program. I think. No, really, I just want to tell everybody thank you. It's been an incredible time working with each and every one of you. And my wife says, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna prepare something? And I said, how do you prepare something when you had the very best job in the world? And for the new guys, I remember thinking, it's gonna take forever for me to retire. And then the next, I can't even talk, I'm so nervous. I don't even know why I'm nervous. But anyway.
You're doing great, Chun.
All right, thank you.
Drink.
Yeah, you got a drink? I'll stop tonight. Anyway, I just want to tell you guys thank you very much. It's been an honor to work with each and every one of you. All right.
Les.
Isn't that my shirt?
Sit down. Stand up.
I'll keep this short. Just want to say all I can say is I want to thank you guys, second family, if not even the first family, everything the last 26 years within the Berkeley Fire Department. It's been amazing. From the day I got hired, the best day of my life, to the day I retired, which is the second best day of my life. I appreciate everything you guys have done for us, supported us through the union, through the department, the city. I want to congratulate the guys I came in with, Curt, Chun, Bill Kehoe, even though he's not retiring. I got more hair than him, so I get to go first. Sam Hoffman and Stan Skowski's coming out probably next year, I hope. But it's been a great ride. I appreciate all the support, and retirement's great.
Humphrey.
I am sitting down. I didn't have anything prepared, but Doug, thank you very much for doing that, because I could remember almost every single one of the ones that you brought up, most of them, and it was amazing. It really refreshed my memory about how rich this experience was in the fire department. I worked as a carpenter for 8 years, and I worked in gas stations, and I worked my butt off before I came in the department. And then I started getting paid about twice as much once I got hired as I was as a carpenter, and I was having fun. And I never looked at my watch, when I was at work. I wasn't hoping to go home. I loved it. And the new guys, I'm one of these guys that's kind of nervous and anal, and so I was really on the job when I first got hired, and I wasn't a medic. We weren't medics, we were just EMTs, and I was an EMT in title only. I'd never been on an ambulance or anything, and I made the mistake on one of my first calls with Mike Gillespie and Rich Assoni, and I'll never forget this dang call. I had my latex gloves on as soon as I got off the rig, like a good boy. And we walked in, there's a lady in hard labor on the living room rug.
Heavy labor, Bob.
Heavy labor, what did I say? Hard labor, yeah. Ball and chain. Anyway, thank you, Sam. Heavy labor. And she's ready to blow. Rich Assoni looks at me, sees that I've got my latex gloves on, and goes, "Oh, kid, you got your gloves on. Good. Why don't you go down in there?" And I've never seen childbirth, or I don't think I've ever even seen a pregnant lady in my life. And, so I said, "What? 7 questions." And I asked the 7 questions and did it all right. And then we got into the ambulance, and I got in with them, and the baby popped out right into my hands. I almost dropped the baby. It's incredible. And then the lady goes, "Hey, mind if I light up?" Want to smoke a cigarette? But anyway, Mike Gillespie can attest that I very rarely slept in the firehouse. I was eating Tums like they were breakfast food. And but after a while, it finally settled down. I don't know if any of you guys are nervous in your first year. You've got probation to get through and all that, but you'll get through it. And just remember also, you young guys, that it's really important for you to not think that your officer is the guy that's going to have it all figured out. You know, he needs your eyes and ears, and really try to embrace every bit of this job that you can and be as much of a help on a fire or on a whatever situation there is as you can, and learn as much as you can. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that can kill you, and you know, like I did a lot of research online, and there's all the institutional knowledge of firefighters that have gone before you. It's on the internet. There's thousands and thousands of guys that have gone before us and have learned about basement fires, etc. So just learn as much as you can and be as much of a help to your officer as you can be, and try to know his job as best you can. And probably leave it with this: the best advice I ever got, and I really needed it when I was an officer, was you didn't start the fire, you know. So don't take it upon yourself that because that was my problem. I get all, you know, hyper, and it was so important. I felt like it was my responsibility, you know, and I didn't start the fire. You guys didn't start the fire. Just go, take your time, and put it out, and don't worry about it. But also, thank you, everybody. John Anderson, you were a great officer. I don't know if you're still in here or not, but I really appreciated John's. There he is. Great officer. He taught me a lot of what I learned, and we all have a lot to learn, and we don't all learn it all. But John, you were a great officer, and I appreciate it. And guys like Mark Samonton, who's probably not in here either, he was an AO. He is an AO, and AOs are the biggest help when they're really interested in training people. And guys like Mark really, really help the department go on. But there's a ton of you guys out there that deserve thanks, so I'm not going to start doing a list. Anyway. So you started a list. Sorry. I wish I had done what Doug did and prepared something, but I didn't. So thanks a lot.
Wake up, Sam.
Come on down.
I can bring this to you.
Bring it back down to Putnam level.
Stand up.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go.
There we go.
7 times.
2 minutes.
What?
Your time time.
Less than 2 minutes.
You're on the timer.
I can only, start me, Brian. I can only iterate what these guys have already said, because they pretty much said it all. I think, firstly, I want to give thanks to a young man who's no longer with us, but maybe Tony's still here. Tony, with us? Your brother John, God rest his soul, that said, Sam, retired, well, actually, medically deceased, retired, member of the Contra Costa Fire Department. He was the one that said, Sam, you ought to be a firefighter, him and my buddy Tim Morley. That was back around 1976, when I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And God bless him for giving me some direction. Secondly, probably my officers, starting with Jimmy Evans at Piedmont, Gareth Hilborn at Pleasanton, and then my first 2 officers here at Berkeley was Wayne Dismuke and Charlie Miller. Neither of us here. Charlie by choice, and Wayne because he's gone too soon, and I think Doug already referred to him, and they were great people. My last crew, Bob Smith and Mestro. 2 beautiful people that I really enjoyed working with. The crew at Engine 5 that I broke in with, Ron Foster is my partner. Charlie, once again, he came out of the tower the same time I did. I think I was enough for him, and he said, that's it. My partners that I went through the recruit academy with, Les Putnam, Curt Chun, Bill Kehoe, and Stan Zukowski, even though he dropped a ladder from the 3rd floor when we were extending the ladder into the 3rd floor window. Nobody got hurt, so that was a good thing. Again, this has just been a fun ride, and like Curt said, 32 years has gone by, so, and that's not counting my reserve time when I was in Contra Costa. This goes by so fast. You young guys, take heart. If I had to say one thing, learn everything you can. Grab it, hold on to it. Take lots of pictures. Now that you got iPhones and smartphones and all that kind of stuff, because you want to capture those Kodak moments. I think my greatest moment in the department, besides being hired, and I had Vic Porter as my officer, or my chief that signed me in, my greatest moment was probably the recruit academy that I got to help out with Shawley, where you got Shawley and Ingrid. I won't name everybody. Who else was in that group? Greg was there. Tyree Mills. Tyree's around here somewhere. It was the only group that had a mix of medics and EMTs, and it was great for the department. It was a good time. I think that's pretty much it. Believe it or not, I'm going to be short with this one. And I just thank everybody for the time that I spent here at Berkeley, and God bless you all. Be safe.
Well, I guess that's it. What I'd like to do now, anybody out there want to say something?
Guys, man.
Guys, I didn't even see you.
Hey guys. Where do we start? I'm going to start with Jeff Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be short and sweet. Jeff was my firefighter. And well, Paul Olson. And I always, everybody's working with me. Those who have a little orientation. It's like come to Jesus talk. Jeff was the only guy that stopped me 2 minutes into it and said, Rich, I've already heard it. And I was going to say, I'm the firefighter, you're the officer, I'll do whatever you tell me. And for an officer, that's the best firefighter you can have. It's been great. When they remodeled Station 6, they put the firefighter...
Don't even tell me about fucking remodeling station. One fucking door